Well, maybe you haven't because maybe you haven't gone through a Super Bowl before. We had one here a long time ago, but now we're going to get kind of on the cycle. So perhaps you should know about what the ins and outs are, the do's and don'ts, the goods and the bads about renting your home for a massive worldwide event like this. And so in order to give you all of the straight scoop, we invited Matt Failing, President and CEO of Better Business Bureau, back to join us. He always gives us BBB stuff and cautions. And Jason Penrose here for the first time, associate broker with RE/MAX Achievers. Okay. All right, now we got to get something out of the way right away.
Sure.
RE/MAX, is it still in business?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, we like to have guests who are still working.
Sure.
Because if we have to get you a job at the Better Business Bureau, that's not our goal here this morning. We want to know about renting homes during the Super Bowl. Who's doing it?
A lot of people are doing it, especially those that are close actually to the stadium. You'll see a wider range of rentals, anything from condos to multi-million-dollar mansions. I think everyone's trying to cash in on this big event, and a lot of people are doing it. There's a lot of different avenues to get it done.
Which happens to be the Scandinavian version of what I was going to say to you, the multi-million-dollar mansion.
Yes.
That person probably has already thought, oh, well, wait a minute, hold it. I made my multi-millions by figuring out how it is that I can turn a buck.
Sure.
And so they already know. The condo person probably hasn't thought that there's any desirability there at all.
Right. Right. Well, there is some desirability. Some people might not need that much square footage. Some people just want, they're having just a small family, small gathering of people, and they want something that's going to be customized with flat screen TVs, a fully stocked fridge, already furnished and so on, so they can enjoy the game.
So what's the range from a low, let's give it a week, all right? So because there's a whole lot of activities, obviously, in and around the Super Bowl. Somebody comes here, they're not going to just come here overnight.
Sure.
So they want to rent a house for a week. The low price to the high price, what do you hear?
I would say the low price, you're probably looking at maybe $5,000. The upper end, you're probably looking at maybe $20,000, $30,000.
Excuse me, pardon me. My pills, please. Whoa, $25,000 or $30,000 for when you just got everybody's attention right now.
Right.
But what do we have to look out for as far as the Better Business Bureau is concerned?
Well, from a renter standpoint, or the rentee, the person renting the house, it's my house, I'm going to rent it. I need to make sure that I'm listing it properly. I need to make sure that I'm not giving money to somebody that says they're going to post the information, send them a check.
Wait, they're going to post the information?
Yeah, certainly. The people coming to the Valley for the Super Bowl, they need to find these houses. They need to connect with these houses. They have websites out there, some legitimate, some not, that list the houses that are available to be able to rent. So if I want to rent my house, what I would do is, contact a reputable broker and talk with them and say, how would I go about this?
That's kind of a half-hearted gesture. I know you just met, but let us consider the fact that we've done our research and we know he's a reputable broker.
You got it.
Okay, but I mean, any real estate person, or are there specific people who handle these
there are specific companies that handle this in and of itself, these home rentals, and you want to make sure you're dealing with a reputable one. The Super Bowl is coming, for the first time in how many years, and the same weekend as the golf tournament. There are the hotels are going to be sold out. There's going to be a lot of demand for this. So if I'm interested in renting my house out, I need to make sure I'm not just sending money to an unknown entity and saying, help me out here, because probably they're only going to help themselves to my money.
If you were going to rent your house,
correct,
give me specific things that you as the Better Business Bureau guy would do.
Well, if I was going to rent my house, the first thing I would do is call my realtor and say, who can you recommend that I talk to? That's the #1 thing I would do. After they recommended somebody, I would go to the BBB website and make sure that there haven't been scams, complaints lodged against the business. I would pick up the phone and call the Better Business Bureau. I would call this, if they're not local, which I would highly recommend only using local companies. If they weren't local, I would do some research on the internet, perhaps call an office of the Attorney General or the Better Business Bureau in that state or city. I would just make sure that these people aren't, just fly by night. They could have been released from the prison yesterday for forgery and fraud and created a website to get your money. And so,
and here I am with my naivete, thinking about the purity of a relationship that I could develop with some family from Green Bay, for example, with no favoritism intended. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, hold on, Green Bay, Wisconsin. the heartland of America, fabulous people, great tradition with the football team. How could I possibly go wrong? How could I go wrong?
Well, you can go wrong for one, not knowing what the fair housing laws are. You got to be careful that you're not discriminating when you are selecting a tenant for your property.
Wait. How could I discriminate? I just want a family from Green Bay.
Well, you can't advertise for family because you can't discriminate due to familial status. So these are certain things the public needs to be aware of, and that's why it is important that you would contact your realtor or a professional property management company prior to selecting a tenant to make sure you're not violating any fair housing laws when you're advertising for those tenants to come into your property.
Wow, I think that's probably something that most people wouldn't think about.
Right.
And let us assume that the vast majority of people here would not purposely discriminate about color, religion, sexual orientation, or any of those things.
Right.
But you mean I'd be discriminating if I said a family from Green Bay because maybe I came from there?
It would not inadvertently, you would be, yes. So you have to be careful in the wording that you use when you do advertise these properties for rent, that you're not violating fair housing laws. And another thing you would need to want to consider if you're going to be renting your property out is call your insurance agent to make sure that your policy is going to cover you while your property is a rental against any damages and or possibility liability suits if someone should get injured on the property.
I just asked Matt about renting his house. Would you rent yours?
I would not.
Oh, I want to know why. I mean, you're a real estate guy. You're the RE/MAX guy. Why? $25,000, $30,000 for the week?
Right. Well, if you have a $25,000 to $30,000 house, I think if you're in a regular home, 2,000 square feet or less, you're probably not going to command that kind of money. If you've got maybe a 5,000 or 6,000 square foot home, 6, 7 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms, a very large estate, we're talking, we're talking, pool, 4 or 5 car garage. You might be able to command that kind of money, but for the average home, you're not going to get that much money.
And some of the things that I read about, by the way, is you might want to, if you decide you're going to do that, and this is still attractive to you, listening to all of these protection things that are available to you from the right people, think about whether the renter is going to ask for maid service and whether maid service should be done by you. And you say, well, wait a minute, hold it. No, I'm here to make the money off the rent. But this is a way for you to check on the standard of the house and how well it's being kept up by the renters if you just come in with sheets and pillowcases every day, huh?
Right.
Hey, okay, who do we call? Quickly, who do we call? Better Business Bureau? In order to find out people, do we just call our own real estate person?
I would definitely contact your real estate professional to start the conversation of wanting to rent your property, who you need to contact. Do they handle rental properties, or if not, do they have a property management company they can refer you to get the process started to make sure that you have all your paperwork in line so that you can profit off of this, but do it in a safe way.
And you can always call the Better Business Bureau if you want to know about where the good guys are, right?
Always, yep.
And how to look out for the bad guys.
You got it.
Matt Failing, Better Business Bureau, and Jason Penrose, who is with the newly revitalized RE/MAX organization, RE/MAX Achievers, on Super Bowl rentals. You're thinking about it now, aren't you? Well, I'll tell you what, if you're going to advertise yourself, you better know how to brand it. You better know how to brand your house. You better know how to brand your family. You better know how to brand Phoenix. What about your business? Do you know how to brand that? You will if you pay attention to the next guest.